Okay.
It's time for another episode of the Cultural Hall. Yes, this is still a thing that gets published that we do. Sorry, listen. I'm sorry. Life, man, life. I've got interviews that are plotted out for forever, but the news, that's what we'd like to do. You can't do news in the future. If I could, that would make me some sort of profit, I suppose, and that's not what I would like. I'm joined by Megan the Mitch Mitchell. Would you like to be a prophet, Megan?
No,
No? Prophet?
not even, no,
No?
not even sort of.
How
I
about
mean,
a
maybe,
god? Would you like to be a
okay.
god?
Well, there's debate about that.
If someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes. I need to watch.
I like unto it, but no, I could be a prophetess of my own life.
Okay.
And of my household.
Yeah.
But that's about where I draw the line. Or my calling, I guess. But
yeah.
I draw the line there.
Okay.
Too much pressure.
Yeah. What's new in the household of the Mitchells, the Mitches? Meet the Mitches.
Oh, do you want to hear my new food obsession?
I just ate, and yeah, I would like to hear that.
Okay, so my new, I guess you could call it a fixation.
Okay.
This is my undiagnosed ADHD brain talking.
Sure,
you fixate on things. Lavash bread.
I don't even know what that is.
Okay, so I didn't either, but it's like almost like a tortilla, like a cross between a tortilla and a flatbread.
Okay, so right? Like naan?
It's like thinner than that.
Okay.
It's like the thickness of like a whole wheat tortilla.
Okay.
But it's super high in protein because it's all like sprouted grains and stuff.
Okay.
But I've been doing everything with it. Like, so I'm in this position.
Take it on a walk?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We go out and like hit the ball around.
Yeah, listen, when my husband isn't emotionally open, I sit down with the
lavash bread.
Do they comes in loaves?
No, you get like a bag that has like 4 pieces of flatbread in it.
Okay.
And they're huge. They're like a foot and a half long. Yeah, like a foot and a half long by like 8 inches. So they're large. Okay. But here's the thing. So I'm in this position right now. I may have seen myself in a swimsuit over the weekend, and I was like, maybe I need to adjust some things with my diet. And I'm not like really big on calorie restriction, but I am like trying to fuel my body in ways that are healthy, right? Mm-hmm. You have a wife who's a nutritionist or dietitian, right? Yes. She probably gets that.
Yes, 100%. And I get it.
Yeah.
And I get it by
by extension.
By extension.
Right? And so like typically I like fast food and I love Taco Bell, but I can't eat Taco Bell and like enjoy looking at myself in a swimsuit. Like they're too disparate. So I've been making Crunchwrap Supremes with it. And it's amazing. Today I made a wrap sandwich with it. I was like, I could probably do like a quick little pizza. Anyway, get them at Walmart. They're like if you use the full wrap, like the full flatbread, it's like 160 calories, which, but there's 6 grams of protein in it.
There you go.
And so you add some chicken on there and you've got your 20 grams for your meal. And it's like quick and easy. And I can put together a Crunchwrap Supreme on my stove in like 5 minutes.
Rocking her macros, the Mitch. Watch out, everybody.
Getting stronger.
Counting and rocking. I always, when I feel really particularly bad about the way that I eat, I have to stop myself and I say, fuel, not food.
Yes.
That's how I recorrect myself.
Yeah.
And most of the time I end up just still eating the thing anyway, but I try and at least have that stop thought of like, it's fuel, not food. Nah, yep. Okay, I'll have some more ice cream.
But hey, you know what? Like the Lord loves effort. So,
Sure. Mostly. He mostly loves efforts.
Yeah.
I think there's some things where he's like, I don't know that we call that an effort, pal. Still loves, but doesn't recognize it as an effort. It's like, still love you, but come on, let's shoot each other.
Get it together, right, Richie. Get it together, Richie.
Well, cool. I'm glad. Lavash.
LAVASH. So like I bought some today because I had run out and I bought some more at the store and I made a wrap sandwich that had like whipped cream cheese on it and then some turkey, lettuce, some Havarti cheese.
There you go.
And it was delicious. It was so good.
Yeah.
So good. So and then what I do, so then I go to Costco, right? And I found these little single servings of grilled chicken.
Oh, okay.
That you just freeze. And so like if I'm making a Crunchwrap Supreme, like I lay out my lavash and put the sour cream and the cheese and everything while I defrost the chicken on the stove. Then put it on, wrap it all up, put it on the stove one more time, and I've got this amazing
it's a bougie Crunch Wrap Supreme.
A
Yeah,
little bit, but I save on the calories.
Yeah, and you get those grams of protein. Go macros. I tell you what, and since we're talking about things like little life hacks, things that we that make our life easier, I can't remember what I called them in the last episode, making it sound like it would be a feature that
they were like life-changing things.
Yeah, is it life-changing? Yeah, life-changing. The rotisserie chicken that they take off of the chickens and like put them into bags, or I can't remember how they distribute that at the Costco. That's life-changing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That is a meal prep in like everything. Sprinkle some of that on the top of your salad. Boom. You get a bottle of tikka masala, and you just dump the chicken into a warm thing of tikka masala. Boom. You just made Indian food.
Throw it on a quesadilla.
Yep.
Tacos.
Boom. You just made Mexican food.
Ish.
You throw it, you put some white wine. The alcohol bakes out, everybody.
Of course.
Some mushrooms, and then you got whatever that's called, the chicken and mushrooms. No, what's it called with the chicken and mushrooms? And...
I don't eat mushrooms. So I have no
marsala?
idea.
Just regular.
I think
marsala?
so.
I think it is.
I think so. Yeah.
So you can have your tikka masala or your not tikka. No tikka. This to share, and then we'll take a break and get into news. In the third block, by the way, Nate Eaton comes in and talks about where we're at in the Lori Vallow Chad Daybell case, with the closing of Lori Vallow's case and the kind of hiatus until we get to Chad's case. He talks all about what that means, talk about sentencing and all that. That's coming up in the third block. Huge shout out to him. Stick around for that. But this, I went up to Montana, Helena, to see the Helena, Montana open house.
Did you love to see the temple, Richie?
Listen, I already went there someday. It was actually a Monday. It was a Monday. So a few sort of observational things, and then we'll get serious.
Okay.
One, so I thought that this was interesting. In the baptistry, you know how that typically the baptistry is on the back of 12 oxen, as in the 12 tribes of Israel.
Yes, I'm familiar.
There's only 9.
What?
Yep.
How did that happen?
I don't know. And I don't know. Here was the thing that sort of kind of this is an intermixing of a spiritual thing, but the people that told me about the baptistry were Aaronic priesthood holder gentlemen between the ages of 12 and 14. So they were not going to field my question with
they did not have the inside information.
I just was like, thank you for telling me about the baptistry. Is there anyone that can tell me why we only have 9 of the tribes? Are they forgotten? Is this a Indiana Jones adventure? What's going on? But I am curious about that. That was an observation.
Okay, somebody in the hall who's from Helena, reach out to Richie. Contact at theculturalhall.com.
Well, and I've got family up there, but that's a whole different story why we didn't talk about it. So that was one thing. The second observation, so you know how like in Jordan River Temple, we're sort of spoiled here in the state of Utah. You get to go into essentially like the chapel, and then you would go and change, or I'm thinking about order of this. You can go and sort of wait, and then you go and change, and then you go through and do whatever you're doing at the temple. Well, the Helena Temple does not have that. So when you are waiting, there is a determined room in the stake center that shares the parking lot with the temple that essentially serves as the waiting place before you go over for your session and get changed and do the temple work. They don't have that space in the Helena Temple.
Interesting.
So I thought that was curious.
Is it because of the size? Like, is the Helena Temple super small?
100%. It's 100% because of the size. I thought it was also interesting to note, and I don't know if it was because it was the open house or if this is because this is the way we're going, because when they built the Helena Temple, there used to be a stake center there, and they raised it and then built a new stake center and then the temple. So everything's brand new, including the chairs in that room. And they were soft and comfortable and thick and handsome looking chairs. So I'm curious to know if this is where the church is headed with its chairs.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to know. I want to know.
Mm.
Contact at
Like chairs
theculturalhall.com.
throughout all of the buildings? Like, is
I
that what
didn't
you're
go in the
meaning?
other parts of the building because they are very quick to be like, we are going in here, we are going there. That was another observation that I thought was
Okay.
actually I was pretty proud of. We went
Mhm.
on a Monday in the middle of the day. Still school was still in, all the things. There was gobs of people there.
That's awesome.
Families, people coming from all over the place to come and see this temple. It was super cool.
Cool.
Uh one thing that made me sort of chuckle, and we do this all the time within the church, but I just have to call it out because I thought it was so funny. So we pull up and we're going to park, and the
Yeah.
woman stops us. It's very apparent where you go, right? You turn
Yeah.
in and then you park and then you
Yeah.
go like there was not an absence of signage at all, right? Over signage perhaps.
Of course.
And the woman says, "All right, you need to park over there and then follow that sign in there and go that and I'm like, okay. So
Done.
you're going to come in here and then you're going to park, but don't try and come back out this way. Then you'll park over there and then you'll go in that building there and then you'll come over here and then you'll be able to go over there and then you'll be able to come in, but don't try and come back this same way that you've come right now." And in my mind, I'm thinking, I mean, I got it after the first time, but we're
Right.
3-4 times in on this thing. You telling me to make sure how to do it. And so we do it, of course. I behave,
Yeah.
follow
You
the rules.
followed the rules.
And but I couldn't help it. And this
Yeah.
is the type of person that I am. We're walking out and we sort of have to cross not paths with her, but sort of adjacent to her.
Sure.
And as I'm walking back to my car, I say, "Hey, is it possible for me to just come out where you're at and be able to?" And my wife hits me and she sort of gets that she had just, it was an abundance of like authority that she felt.
Yeah.
And bless her for
Yeah.
doing it right, because if there were way more people, it would be a cluster at the
Chaos.
point that people start coming a different way and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that that's what had happened. I'm sure that
Mhm.
that's what they stressed to her. I'm sure she just wanted to do a great job, but she did a really great job making sure that I didn't go.
Well, so here's the thing. I'm going to call her Sister Jones.
Mhm.
She must have a calling in her ward.
Mhm.
Maybe she's ministering, like over ministering,
Mhm.
and they have 100%
Sure.
because she's not going to let it slide. And they were
That's
like,
right.
who's going to man this entrance and make sure it does not become an exit?
Sister Jones.
She's on it.
Yep.
She was the one. They knew.
So other things, and I'll probably get into this a little bit in the next temple ticker with Corey, so I won't go too much. But the that temple, of course, is the first temple to be this modular temple where they build most of the temple elsewhere and then sort of assemble it like Legos. That's a crude way of explaining it, but
no,
that's
what
what
I've been thinking the whole time is Legos.
Yeah.
They just
It's
got a
cool.
big instruction manual.
Yeah, it's cool, and you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So some people have
That's
been like, "Does it
awesome.
look like a module?" No, looks like a beautiful,
Cool.
House of the Lord, which was cool.
Yeah.
My wife, so she came with me, not a member of the church. I make her go to all the temple things with me. We try and get as many pictures in front of temples as we can because that's for me.
She's darling, by the way. You sent me a picture and she is so cute.
Thank you. So we do the tour, and she is one that wants facts on the tour.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to know this is this, and this is how this, and this. And there's sort of that moment, and we know how this goes, where people want to bear testimony and they want to share their feelings.
Right.
And she's like, "Yeah, and this is white, and I feel like white is," and so the woman kind of goes like that. And my wife's like, "Listen, if it's symbolically white, tell me that it's symbolically white. But if you just feel that your white is your favorite color, I don't want that to be a part of a factual tour." I thought that was kind of a funny thing for her to raise sort of an issue about. But the other thing, super quick. I would have hoped, and I'm going to do Saratoga Springs here before it closes up. But it was not, when we did Payson as part of the Coulter Hall, whenever that was years ago, and did the Payson Temple open house, like they were like, and if you look in the intricate of the woodwork, you can see the apple blossoms because this used to be apple farms, and and then there's this, and this picture here was painted by this person, and the reason why this is nope,
none of it.
The baptistry, we believe in being able to do the work for those that aren't able to do the work. Next room, like
Move along.
it was very concise, and I missed that. I
Yeah.
don't know if it was just like the staffing of the people that were there for that particular day, particular time,
Sure.
or if like, for
They
whatever
shortened the
reason.
script.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I think that's all it as far as that goes. Life-changing thing. Are you ready for
Let's hear
this?
it. I'm here. I'm ready.
This is my 2 life-changing things for the week.
Okay.
One from the month of June, that is June
Mhm.
2023, to the month of September 1st, so Labor Day, essentially Memorial Day
Sure.
to Labor Day. I will be practicing the Latin American and Spanish tradition of siesta.
I love this for you.
So I am going to get up super early,
Okay.
like abhorrently early,
Okay.
work real hard, do the things, and then about 11, 12, I'm going to nap a couple
Love it.
hours in the middle of the afternoon and then get up and do the rest of the stuff. So I'm
Yeah.
excited about that life hack. I'll let you know how that goes.
I'm excited to hear it.
And then the second thing, this won't take place for a few months, so bated
Okay.
breath, everyone. And if you've
I'm
done
on
something
it.
like this before, let me know.
Okay.
Contact at theculturalhall.com. I am going to employ the Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg line of fashion.
Oh, yeah.
So Steve Jobs, known for just having the the
Black turtleneck and mom
black
jeans.
turtleneck. Yep. And then Zuckerberg always the hoodie, basic. He has a couple things and that's it, right?
Yep.
Freeze your brain up for other stuff. I, in the year 2024, have decided it is the year of coveralls for me.
I love it. I love it.
My grandpa was a coverall gentleman. Lots of people's grandpas, I think, become
Yep.
coverall gentlemen.
Mhm.
I'm doing it a year or 10 or 20 early, and I'm just going to see if I like it.
Listen, you don't have to worry about matching your outfits and making sure that they coordinate. I'm here for it. I actually have a pair of coveralls that I love.
Sure.
They're so comfortable. Okay, it's a utility jumpsuit. That's
Sure.
what they call it on Amazon for the
Sure.
fashionable ladies. But it is so stupid comfortable, and I can dress it up and dress it down. You
Sure.
know, I'm. Oh, will you extend this to the temple and get a white one piece for when you go and do endowments?
Like I don't already have a white one piece for the temple. I'm the guy who, on my mission, even though onesie garments were still were a thing of the much past, on the
Yeah.
first night with the new companion, I would put on the one piece garments because missionaries would often just be in their garments, and I would get the looks of, wait, what are you? Why would you wear that? Why are you?
You're like, look, I look like a 20-year-old dude on the outside, but
Yep.
inside I'm like 85. I'm
Yeah.
like a grumpy old man.
Yeah. But to your point, like you have one set of coveralls. That's not the thing. That's not what I'm talking
Right.
about. I'm not just
Right.
going to buy a bunch of coveralls and be like,
You're good.
oh,
Yeah.
I'll filter this in. I am committing
I love this.
to, except for events that I'm working that I have to wear something that is not coveralls. That's it.
Do it.
I'm gonna.
I'm so excited for this. You
Yep.
should start like a whole Instagram account, like Richie and his coveralls.
Done. The
Do
thing is, they have the short pants, short sleeve coveralls.
Yeah.
I haven't found any that I think would cover garments, which is sort of a bummer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's more like romper territory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's a
That's
whole
no good.
other thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going back to your siesta plan. So over in Rome, they shut down the temple for like 3 hours for siesta time. And like they don't advertise that at all.
Oh.
Like you have no idea. So like when my husband and I were there, we got there and we were like, oh, we're gonna do the visitor center first, and then we'll go over to the temple, right? So we were telling the sisters our plan and talking to them, and they were like, after they gave us like a tour, they're like, oh, you wanted to do a session at the temple, didn't you? We're like, yeah, we would really like to. And they're like, run now, because they will close the doors, lock it, nobody in for hours. And you won't make it if you don't get over there. We got over there, we were still too late, but they let us do one ceiling.
Oh, cool.
We did one total ceiling in the Rome temple, but yeah, they like lock it down. Everybody leaves. I mean, all of the temple workers, they hop in their cars or their taxis and they go home. So for anybody traveling to Rome, just know if you go in the middle of the day, You might have trouble doing sessions, but
I'm all in on it. I'm all in on it. Let's take a
I
break.
know I'm sold.
When we come back, let's do actual articles of news.
Oops.
Here in the second block of articles of news, you know it, we do actual articles of news.
Hit it, Peter.
And away we go. I'll take the first one. These are in no particular order except how they come up in the Word document that I copy and paste all this stuff. There are new folks that have been called to be the historic directors of Historic Kirtland. Way to go to the barracks. And there was a big article all about who and where they come from. He used to be the Tabernacle at Temple Square's manager, and he talks about how they're excited to be able to get the word out about Historic Kirtland, and I'm here for it. That's it.
Awesome.
That's as quick as that story is. Boom, one, done. Yours.
All right. So there is a food truck in Portland, Oregon that I am so excited about. It's called Ruthie's, and they specialize in cuisine that is Latter-day Saint inspired. So the guys who own it, they're from Ogden, and they moved up to Portland, and they took all of their grandma's recipes from like her ward cookbooks, and they opened a food truck. The one thing that they are kind of known for, they make these amazing rolls that are basically like Lion House rolls.
Yeah.
And a refined version of funeral potatoes, which I'm like, come on, funeral potatoes are like the most refined dish.
Sure, but you bougie it up with some lavash.
Right. Exactly. You're made in the shade. Broccoli and cheddar casserole. So here's why I'm excited about this. I'm from Portland.
Okay.
I'm a Latter-day Saint. It's like the two worlds colliding, right? And I'm going to Oregon in June for family reunion. Okay. And I'm hoping that either on my way into town or on my way out, we can drive through and visit this food truck, because it sounds awesome.
Here's the deal. Hope not, do or do not. That's what I'm saying. Either do it or don't do it. Don't tell me do it. Do it or don't do it.
We're going to do it. And I'm going to make my husband listen to this episode so that he knows the plan. That it'll probably have to be on our way out of town coming back to Utah.
Sure.
But yeah, it's interesting. The guy who owns it, last name is Moore. Colin Moore. So he's from Ogden, and it sounds like he wasn't really ever a practicing member of the church. His grandma definitely was. But this is just kind of his way of latching on to his heritage, the things he found comfort in, Sure. And Grandma Ruth has given her stamp of approval.
I'm glad you know that that's her name, because it's a terrible name if Grandma's name isn't Ruth.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. Yeah. But he's got like a big bushy beard, sleeves of tattoos. So not your typical Latter-day Saint look or vibe, which is fine. We're all about broadening the stakes anyway. So, sure. But yeah, I am excited to try the food. Looks amazing. There's pictures in this article. But yeah, maybe you should get them in the cultural hall, Richie. That might be an interesting conversation.
But I want to know if the food's any good. So you go to Portland. If you think it's good, hey, I work with this thing. They want to talk to you. Make the connection and we'll do it. And that may be the first one that you actually connect me to that I follow through and actually do. Awesome. Inside joke for Megan the Mitch.
For anybody in our text chain.
This was interesting. You talk about expanding the stakes of Zion. There's two new branches that are created in Luisa. It's the Democratic Republic of the Congo. This was pretty cool. There, let me get to the actual story. This guy, Brother Willie Kamuanza, he walked 200 kilometers from Luisa, and I'm probably saying that incorrectly, to Kananga in 2010 to be baptized. So it's this amazing gentleman. He is now the leader, I want to say branch president of this particular place, but two new branches in Africa. Here is what I wish we had more of, or like an official person. I know the Church News does a pretty good job about being able to do this, but I wish that there was a little bit more of a face on this, of someone who would update like monthly, like they do with the Temple Square renovation. That's like, here are all the awesome things that are going on with the church on the continent of Africa.
That would be so cool.
Yeah. Yep.
would be
We
so
do
cool.
our
'Cause
best, but that's not what it
yeah,
is. But cool, 2 new branches and an amazing story about this guy who's like, I feel so passionately about that. 220 kilometers is what? Like,
I don't even
because
know.
5K is from a sprint, and then it's, I mean, it's
It's
easily
like
like,
100+ miles.
3 or 6 sprints, probably. Yeah, 100 plus
Yeah,
miles.
that's a lot.
That is a lot, but he
There,
knew
you've
it.
got mathematicians listening who are like,
Yeah.
it's this
They're like,
much.
hey guys, you can Google how many 220 kilometers are, and it'll give you an answer that quick. So
I feel like that would take some prep work that neither
sure,
one of us are willing to do.
we did not do,
No.
uh, but cool to know about those 2 new branches down there.
Well, and it
What
sounds
else?
like, sorry, can I go back to that really
Yes, please.
fast? It
Yeah.
sounds like the church in like specifically in the Democratic Republic of the Congo is kind of exploding because didn't they get their, so they had a temple dedicated not too recently, right? With Elder
Not too
Renland.
distant, you mean?
Yeah, not
Yeah.
too distant.
Mhm.
Elder Renland dedicated it, I think. And isn't there another one that's been announced?
I want to say so, and then there's I think the Republic of the Congo and the
Oh,
Democratic
that's right.
Republic of the Congo, so that also might, but
Oh, that could be
as
confusing
I
me.
understand it, they're like a river apart from each other. They're just 2
Right,
different countries.
right.
But that might also be where it's like, geez, everyone's talking Congo all the time. That is 2 different countries.
Okay, perfect, perfect.
Yeah, so that's exciting. I love to hear
Very.
about that growth. What is your next story?
Well, I'm going to take us to Africa again.
Okay.
So, a missionary, Elder Braden Call, he's serving in Ghana. He happened to be walking down the street and he saw a little kid wearing a baseball jersey from Caldwell, Idaho. And
Okay.
that's where Elder Call is from. He's from Caldwell, Idaho. And he kind of did a double take. He's like, but turns out this jersey belonged to his cousin, Cedric Call, who had donated it to the DI in Nampa, Idaho, and it ended up in Ghana. And it's like the exact jersey. Like even in this article, there's pictures of it comparing. Like it's the jersey that his
Sure.
cousin wore, and he was just like going nuts, like going crazy, seeing this. And his companion was like, "What's going on, Elder?
Yeah.
I don't understand." Well, it turns out this happened to him. He saw this all at a time during his mission when he was really struggling.
Mm.
He was homesick. He was just kind of not feeling at his best as a missionary, and that was, you know, the tender mercy, or maybe the little lesson.
What? What?
Oh,
I've heard of that podcast, the Little
me
Lessons
too.
podcast, available wherever you get the Cultural Hall.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So
Shameful, by
yeah,
the way. Some people will say shameless. That was not shameless at all. That was shameful, but go
so
on.
shameful. It's fine. I need those download numbers to creep up a little bit. So, but yeah, no, it's just a really great gift from Heavenly Father to send him to be like, hey, Elder, I'm aware of you. You're doing great.
That's
I love you.
awesome. That's a great story. I love those kind of feature stories. Sometimes we don't get into them too much because they're not super newsy here in the Cultural Hall,
Right.
and you have to give so much context around them that you're like, "What am I doing? I'm reading this thing," or we
Right.
should just have this person in to tell the story. But I really appreciate that, and it brings up another thing, another living your best life. What am I calling it?
Life changing.
Life
I like
changing thing.
living your best life. I like that.
Okay.
You know.
Don't worry, I won't remember living your best life by the next episode, so it'd be called something else. But if you have a Deseret Industries anywhere near you as you listen to this, even if you're like, these clothes, there's nothing good about these clothes at all, or like they're torn a little bit, or anything like that, so long as they're not like rat infested or something, crazy, take
Yeah.
them to the DI, because
Yeah.
some of the things that they do with like those shirts or like different kinds of materials, they make mattresses, they can make
Right.
all sorts of things, like things that you wouldn't even expect.
Right.
Rather than toss it in the garbage, let them toss it in the garbage. They have the capacity to do so
Yeah.
much more with it, more than you could ever imagine. There's living
Absolutely.
your best life. Boo doo doo.
And if you shop at the Deseret Industries and you're a female, go and buy their men's jeans and their men's shorts
Okay.
because the pockets are bigger
Uh, perfect.
and they're longer. No, I'm serious. Like I hardly ever wear women's jeans anymore.
Sure, but you could also just go to a store that isn't a Deseret Industries and buy man
But
pants.
But if you buy them at the DI, they're already worn in and comfortable.
Okay. Okay. And I would like
So.
to heretofore called man pants mance. Can we make that happen?
Done.
Perfect. This story, saw this in a magazine in Utah called Q Salt Lake, about David Archuleta's mother. This was a follow-up. Obviously, we know that David Archuleta stepped away from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but now his mom has as well. There is an article where she talks all about just being, you know, a lover and supporter of her child. One day this is her words, we received a letter at my house. It was sent by a group named Mama Dragons, which we've actually had here in the Cultural Hall before. It was a heart attack of beautiful letters from mothers of the LGBTQ community in support of David coming out. It was a beautiful thing for me to share this moment with him because I felt that these were moms with whom I could relate and who were walking the same journey for quite some time. I had just started mine and it was all new to me. I was surprised to see that there were so many of them. She goes on to talk about, well, we'll go here. She says, sadly, I've seen many cases of family and friends who won't talk to you anymore because you leave the church. If you're one of them, I totally understand if you choose to do the same with me. I've walked in your shoes before. I know how much pain it causes to hear the news, but I'm on a new journey now. I feel it has been an awakening in my life, and I'm finally ready to move on. Love you all. So that's from David Archuleta's mom, which, by the way, on a complete side note, you do not say anything about David Archuleta on Facebook or you will face the wrath of people. We did it on the Cultural Hall. Here's the deal. You might think, oh, maybe he stepped on a hornet's nest, something around the LGBTQ community and David Archuleta. That is not what I did. Tell me his name, the guy who just won American Idol. Is it
Eon? I wasn't sure if it was Eon. It was IAM. Is his first name.
Is that it?
Yeah, Tongi. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think he goes by Tongi.
Sure.
We should know that as don't worry, we're not doing that news story. We're doing this one about David.
Cool.
So he won. And I decided, as a glib, I took 2 seconds to sort of, think of the comment. I posted a link to the article and I said, take that, David Archuleta, because as people will remember, David Archuleta, not the actual winner of American Idol, but was
the Masked Singer.
Yeah, or the Masked Singer.
Yeah.
But runner-up in both accounts, I think, correct?
Right. Yeah. Yep.
So always a bridesmaid, never a bride, David Archuleta.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, take that, David Archuleta, to which people came out in droves. Take what? I can't believe. Why can't we celebrate the creative endeavors of 2 people? Why does it have to be one person over another person? Blah, 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 blah. And I sort of let things like that kind of simmer because whatever. Sure. I don't care too much. But after like the 3rd or 4th day and people were still commenting, I was like, it is clear to me that people that follow this page, some of you may not listen to the show that we do because this is on brand for the show that we do.
Absolutely.
And you would not be thinking that I'm putting someone down, that I can't celebrate the art, that I if you knew anything about the brand of what we do. And so people just got mad. I posted, hey, it's all a joke. Well, maybe it wasn't funny. Did you ever think? And then I was just like, oh yeah, that's why I don't post. That's why I don't react to comments on Facebook. So
good times. Good times.
Congratulations. Take that, David Archuleta.
Yep, absolutely. So I have a question about that story about David and his mom. Okay. So David, he took a step back from the church, right? But I don't know that they've ever been very specific. Like, is he going full like name off the records? And that's probably none of my business. But like his mom was very upfront that was the direction she was going. She said she's just like
interesting because I don't know that I got that she's and at that point you're sort of
she said hairs. she wrote a letter to her bishop. And I thought that I was reading that it went on to the higher ups, and I could be totally wrong. So I stand corrected if I'm wrong.
Well, And I think it would be interesting to know too, because you can in fact write letters to those folks all the time. And
Right.
I would think, knowing the type of mom that she has demonstrated herself to be, to
Mhm.
write something of a letter that would be like, listen, you guys embraced my son when he was this, when he served
Right.
a mission and did this, and now he is this.
Yeah.
Likely always was, right?
Right. Right.
But you embraced him then, and now you have not embraced who he is now. Can't you please? Isn't there something, I could see that being a letter too. So
Right.
often I think we associate letter with please take my names off the record.
Right.
I haven't
Right.
seen anything formal, not from him or from her.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool.
But
I
we'll
mean,
follow.
not cool. Not a cool situation. I hope
Yeah.
that they are both happy and find fulfillment in the direction that they're choosing to go, which is that's their life, their
Yeah.
decision.
Yeah. The cool, obviously the Brooklyn Nine-Nine, right? Or is it?
Yes.
Yeah. It would actually be terrible, but it just doesn't have the same
Right. Exactly.
ring off the tongue. We've only got a couple
Exactly.
more minutes. Where did you want to go?
Okay, so Utah Republican Chris Stewart,
Oh, yeah.
he is resigning from his seat in Congress because he needs to support his wife in some health challenges. And no article that I've read has actually said what those health challenges are, which is fine, none of my business. But yeah, he just says it's time for me to take a step back and be with her and support her. He says, I can say with pride that I have been an effective leader for my beloved home state, and I'm honored to have played an important role in guiding our nation through some troubled times. But my wife's health concerns have made it necessary that I retire from Congress after an orderly transition can be ensured. Utah law states that now Governor Hawks will call a special election.
Mhm.
And that needs to happen more than 90 days after, the general special election has to be more than 90 days after the primary special election. So they'll have an election and then like a primary and then a general election. And then, yeah, I had no idea about Congressman Stewart's pedigree, like his biography. He
Yeah,
was an
Air Force veteran.
Air Force veteran. He's written like 17 books. And he has like speed records for his flights, which is incredible. But he sits on two very coveted committees, the House Intelligence Committee and the House Appropriations Committee. Kevin McCarthy is confident that the Republicans will keep that seat, will retain it.
Yeah.
So
Because he looked at Utah and
it was
saw
like,
that
yeah,
Chris Stewart won his district by 25%.
25.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Just
think it's
insane.
a solid bet.
Yeah.
Solid bet.
And I don't think in appointing the new person or having the election for the new appointee, I don't think that a Democrat even plays into it. I think it is,
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
a primary of Republicans and then a general of Republicans. I don't think that
right.
a Democrat
That's
fits
true.
into that at all.
And that particular election will only cover the rest of his term.
Yes.
So
yep. Other thing about Chris Stewart co-authored the book about Elizabeth Smart's kidnapping, which I thought was kind of interesting. And then he also was the representative that pushed through the is it 811 for mental health?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. That guy, that member of the church who said, hey, let's do this. And then he was the one who wrote the legislation to get it pushed through. So there you go. There you go. Lots of stories that we're not going to get to because of timing. Let's see here. Where do I want to go with this? Nope, that's not where I want to go. I'm going to tell us all the places I don't want to go. I thought this was interesting. The Chosen.
Mm-hmm.
You familiar?
I am familiar.
An official social media account for The Chosen defended the appearance of a rainbow-colored pride flag on the set of the crowd-funded show, claiming that the endorsement from at least one team member would not affect the theological rigor of the project. The Chosen, we all know what it is. A recent promotional video about season 4 included a brief shot in which a small pride flag can be seen. Turning Point USA contributor and former sports reporter John Root asked The Chosen to explain the presence of the pride flag on set.
Explain yourselves.
And you can imagine that people were like, what? Oh, I can't. Are they gonna, what are they trying to sneak this? Well, so goes on to say, quote, just like with our hundreds of cast and crew who have different beliefs or no belief at all than we
Yeah.
do. We will work with anyone on our show who helps us portray or honor the authentic Jesus, the statement said. We ask that audiences let the show speak for itself and focus on the message, not the messenger, because we will always let you down. And I appreciated that.
Yeah.
It's a shame that we have to, do the whole thing, which
Yeah.
is no, it's all right. We're still gonna, all
Right.
that junk.
Yep.
But I appreciate it, right? If you
Absolutely.
put your faith in man, man will always let you down.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Absolutely.
Do you have one last one? I'll let you have one last one, and then I'll take one last one.
I have one last one. Okay.
Tell me.
If it would pull up.
Please.
Hang on. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
She's played with members of AC/DC and the Killers. How faith helped this teen drum her way to Harvard. So
Okay.
Sophia Dejan, she is 17 years old. And the article, like the headline, makes you think this is going to be all about music, right? And all of the people she's bumped arms with. But this is the cool part. This is the thing that I think is amazing. So she's going to Harvard and the Berklee School of Music, and she's
Which
doing
is there
like
in Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like ridiculously prestigious. She's going to be getting her bachelor's and her master's in music at Berklee. So her bachelor's from Harvard, master's from Berklee, and a full tuition scholarship. And I'm like, so this girl is like a prodigy at the drums. She's trained with literally the best drummers, and she plays some of the most difficult rock and roll pieces on the drums that you possibly can. But the fact that she got into her major schools of choice with full ride scholarship, I mean, way, way impressive. She's got like tons of awards. She's played with everybody. So congratulations,
but has she played with
Sophia.
the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square? That's the big question.
She has not.
Okay.
But she's played with Journey, The Killers, Tower of Power, the Saturday Night Live Band, AC/DC, Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, Blues Brothers, and Genesis, which is interesting because isn't Phil Collins their drummer anyway?
Well, but so much of a front man. Come on.
Right, I know.
And
I'm just trying to show a little bit of music knowledge that I have.
And Phil Collins can't dance and he can't sing, and he's just standing here celebrating everything. I can't remember if that's the words.
But he can feel it coming in there tonight. So there's that.
Yep. All right. Here is the last one that I want to do. Let's end here because this is a dumb place to end it.
Yay.
Tupelo, a terrible tragedy, actually. Yeah. There was a bishop of a ward in Tupelo, this is Mississippi, who passed all of a sudden, young person, mid to early 40s, I want to say. There's an article about Gabe Rulewich, I think is how you would probably say that, who is now the new bishop of the Tupelo, Mississippi ward. And he's replacing Joseph Childs, the former bishop who died unexpectedly April 22nd at age 41. It's a horrible tragedy. I went on to read his obituary, and you know how like online obituaries, you can come on and you can be like, hey, we miss this guy so much. It's just comment after comment after comment after comment.
Wow. But
here's the state of affairs of where we're in today, that I am ashamed of who I am as a person because of this.
What?
Here's what I'm ashamed of.
Okay, let's hear it.
It does not tell me why he passed away. It does not have a cause of death. And I spent easily an hour trying to see if there was something suspicious with it. Because of all these stories that we've had recently about
people being poisoned and
poisoned, or like the person that was set up to be shot, or all that. I don't think this is it at all.
Yeah.
I have no sort of indication that would be, and I further want to say no sort of like disrespect to this amazing person who served in this calling, who was beloved by his community. But when there is that little piece that they say died unexpectedly and don't have that other piece, I know I'm not alone to go,
what happened?
What is it? What's going on? What is this? Is this a thing?
Yeah. Well, and we would do that Latter-day Saint or not,
Yes.
because people
Yes.
don't just pass away at 41
Right.
unexpectedly. And actually, sometimes they do. I actually have a friend whose husband was like 22 and he just died in his sleep on it, like,
But from
but
something.
yeah, exactly. And it was
Right.
known after the fact,
Right.
and but yeah, it could, yeah. I see what you're saying.
So living my best life, last thing, and then we'll wrap this out, go into the third block with Nate Eaton. I have already given, when I pass, I want them to be as descriptive as possible in my obituary. He
There was
died
so
at
much
blank
blood.
time. He apparently wasn't able to hold on to his faculties. Any and everything of how I pass. Like if it's, he was being an idiot and texting while driving and his head, whatever it is, however it is, I have given my afterlife directive to be as descriptive as possible as to my cause of death.
I'm surprised you don't have somebody like ready to do interpretive dance or something.
Well, the only other thing that I've determined, and my wife takes me very serious because I mean this, my service will be no longer than an hour. That's part of
Love
the
it.
thing. And the person will say the prayer at the end, amen, and then the mariachi band will strike up.
Yeah, we talked about this, Richie.
That's it.
We've talked.
Amen.
I love it.
Out.
Done.
All right,
Love
Nate,
it.
coming back in the third block. Thank you, Megan the Mitch Mitchell.
Anytime. Good to see
Literally
you, Richie.
anytime.
Literally.